Between the green and grim of Nairobi City County is a conflicting portrait of its peak and trough, from its former flamboyant boss who was sent home, its assembly of chaos, an endless cycle of city politics, to now a city under Major General Mohamed Badi. The withering but green city under the sun has seen it all, or has it? Tonight we examine the state of the capital. Good evening, but first, these are the stories making headlines tonight. A Kiambu court declares Lawrence Warunge, the main suspect in the murder of his family, unfit to stand trial. Also tonight, the IEBC verifies 1.1 million of registered voters supporting the BBI Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020. And tonight we tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly of Nairobi City County. Good evening tonight of all nights. Anwairimu is our sign language interpreter. My name is Abu Bakr Abdullahi, and to our top story. Lawrence Warunge, the main suspect in the murder of his family and a handyman, is unfit to stand trial. A Kiambu court has ruled. Warunge will now have to wait for another month to take plea in the murder of close to his entire family in Karura, Kiambu County. Mudhoni Maina begins our broadcast tonight.
30 days, Lawrence Warunge is set to be evaluated and treated, after which more tests will be conducted to assess if he is fit to stand trial. The second mental assessment will be done at Mathari Mental Hospital while the suspect remains in police custody. The second suspect, Sarah Muthoni, who is said to be Warunge's girlfriend, has been set free and will now be a prosecution witness in the case. The accused appeared before Kiambu Chief Magistrate Patricia Gishohi. According to an autopsy report, Warunge's mother, Anne Wanjiko, had broken arms and is the only one that appears to have tried blocking the attacker. All the family members died due to a significant loss of blood, multiple injuries which are caused by dulled and penetrating injuries. The case will be mentioned on the 1st of March this year. Muthoni Maina, TV 47.
Moving on, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has verified more than 1.1 million signatures in support of the proposed constitutional amendment bill under the BBI. The Commission has now written to the 47 county assemblies to debate the bill within 60 days before forwarding respective reports to the National Assembly and the Senate. Ruth Mulandi with the details.
The electoral body verified 1.14 million signatures supporting the constitutional amendment process through the Building Bridges initiative. A statement by IEBC Chair Wafula Chebukati states that the Commission had digitized more than 1.7 signatures by last week before arriving at the 1.14 million signatures. The Commission has now written to the county assemblies to debate the bill. At least 24 county assemblies will be required to support the bill if it will be subjected to a referendum. County assemblies are expected to consider the bill within 3 months from the date of submission by the Commission. Thereafter, the speakers of the county assemblies will submit the decisions to their respective county assemblies to the speakers of the National Assembly and the Senate. The Commission, however, says it will continue to verify the remaining supporters' details, and a final report shall be shared with the stakeholders and Kenyans. The move by the Electoral Commission has received mixed feelings across the political divide. Ruth Mulandi, TV 47 News.
Now, ODM leader Raila Odinga has sustained his attacks on Deputy President William Ruto, accusing the second in command of being right at the center of the Jubilee Party's failed promises. This coming just days after Ruto tore into the handshake between Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta, claiming it has derailed the government's agenda. While presiding over the installation of a new union office for university student leaders at the Serena Hotel in Nairobi earlier today, Odinga cited the creation of employment opportunities, digitization of learning, and construction of new stadia as part of the promises that the government has been unable to fulfill. The ODM party leader further called on the young leaders to reject Ruto's wheelbarrow narrative and hold him to account over his failures.
You promised 8 million jobs. Now you're saying you want to mama mboga, mtu mkokoteni, mtu wheelbarrow. Why wheelbarrow? You're saying modern jobs. Where are these personal jobs? Mr. 6 months. So you're going to build modern stadia, each and every county, 47 counties.
Now, something new is happening in the capital. The landscape of what has been known for years as the green city under the sun has been gradually changing owing to new skyscrapers that are sprouting within and outside the central business district. Nairobi is expanding, and with it comes modernized buildings. Sharon Baranga now reports.
In the last 10 years, Nairobi's face has been changing and expanding as it accommodates more buildings that serve the ever-growing population. New skyscrapers are coming up from within and outside the CBD. Before the late 1990s, the Kenyatta International Convention Center was the it building in the city. It defined Nairobi. Now, it serves as part of history as new buildings are beginning to shape the new landscape of the capital.
For quite some time, a number of buildings in the city of Nairobi have served as landmarks for a lot of people, especially if it is their first time in the city. There are people who used to use buildings in trying to locate where they are. For example, KICC, Afya Center, Kencom House are some of the iconic buildings that a number of people are used to. But now we have a new kid in the block, signifying the changing face of the city of Nairobi.
Nilikuja Nairobi 2014 mwezi wa 4, na nilipofika Nairobi naweza kusema building yangu ya kwanza kuona ilikuwa Afya House. Afya Center. Ilikuwa Afya Center. Ndio wakati nitoka nyumbani niliambiwa ukishuka Afya Center nitakuja kuchukuliwa hapo. Nilikuwa ningali mgeni. Ule msemo mwenye alienda kitambo, akikuja lazima aulizie. Alafu tunasema mabinzi zimejengwa zile zimekuwa kubwa, na Afya Center sasa imeonekana ni kama imekuwa ndogo, lakini wakati ilikuwa inasikika sana.
Nikufuatia Nairobi, nilikuwa natembea nikiona mali ya Afya Center building iko. Najua naweza locate mahali sasa naweza pandia gari ya kwenda mahali naenda.
The architecture behind the new skyscrapers is different. They do not stick to what was the norm, where buildings were known to have a straight shape. They come in different designs, from having curves to domes and cubes, adding some spice to the landscape of Nairobi.
Designs zenye ziko saizi, unaona kama hizi yenye imejengwa juzi, kuna hii yenye bado inaendelea. Naona zinabadilika. Kuna madesign zile zinakuja zile poa poa.
Naona ni maendeleo, ni zinajengwa vizuri na according to modern structures.
And now, the new bosses in town are fixated at ensuring the capital sticks to its initial name, the green city under the sun.
You know, to be green is to have efficient spaces that are reserved for greenery, that are recreational places where people can go and rest. Most of these places were grabbed. And that's why you saw when we came in, we have started reclaiming some of those lands.
Most of the new skyscrapers are found in Upper Hill and Westlands areas. Sharon Baranga, TV 47.
And with all these skyscrapers comes a large population Rapid urbanization in Nairobi has spiked the growth in the number of vehicles on the road. Today, Nairobi is one of the world's most congested cities. But just how much time is wasted on the roads? And what does that mean to Nairobi's economy that makes up to 60% of the country's gross domestic product? Our reporter Andrin Kilemi now tabulates the cost of traffic congestion in the city.
Early morning and traffic is heavy on almost every city road. Motorists and commuters in Kenya's capital Nairobi traverse the roads in a never-ending anguish. Frustrations of being stuck in traffic jam has become a routine. Monday morning on Thika Road, and those moving into the central business district are grappling with the agonizing gridlock.
I left home at around 7:30. Saizi it's already 9:30, so go crazy.
Natokanga Musadha, wakati kuna jam, nachukuaga kama 1 hour and a half kufika town.
Getting stuck in traffic in Kenya's capital city, Nairobi, is part of the routine for motorists. The situation gets even worse during rush hours.
Similar scenes are experienced in other major roads within the city, such as Jogoo Road, Lang'ata Road, Wayakiwe and Outer Ring Road. It is worse for commuters plying Jogoo Road from Umoja Estate. They are forced to queue every single morning as they wait for matatus that are stuck in traffic.
Tuko na watu kwa line, as in line kama inatoka mali nimesimama mpaka mali panaitwa SDA kwa kanisa. So these guys wanaweza ngoja gari for like kama 1 hour. Na si ati kwa sababu gari iko kwa jam Jogoo Road.
Ukifika job, manager wako ama boss wako hawezi elewa, baada atakukandamiza. For example, kwangu kama nikilogin kwa system 8 mbele, ile siku atakata mshahara. Juni system ina detect time umeingia na job umefanya.
Motorists burn fuel at unreasonable low speed that results to thousands of man-hour being wasted on the road. To beat the economics, a majority of the commuters choose to hang around the CBD during evening rush hour to allow the congestion to die down and the fares to drop.
Unajua saa hii sasa kuenda kama pipeline ni so moja. So nangoja kitu kama saa 2 ndio ikiwe kama imerudi 50 ama 60 ndio niende. So itakuwa nafuu kwangu. Kwa sababu jam na fare viko vyote vinatisha.
Tena ndio uende ufike kwa nyumba uanze kusettle down, itakuwa saa 4 kwenda mbele. Haupati time ya kupumzika. So hiyo haras tena yani unalala umechoka, bado utaamka umechoka.
But how much time do Kenyans waste on the road on a given day, and what does that mean to the capital's economy and national economy at large?
In Nairobi in particular, the traffic jam causes a loss of about 5 billion Kenya shillings monthly, because Nairobi constitutes about 60% of our GDP, and therefore that is a big and colossal amount of money, translating to about 72 billion shillings in a year.
According to statistics, one of the major attributes of traffic jam in Nairobi is mobility. Every day, people move from point A to point B for different economic reasons. 13% of this movement is done by small vehicles, 43% is by public transport system, while another 43% move by non-motorized means, which include walking and cycling.
If we improved the level of service of the public service vehicle, we will then be able to remove what is the main creator of congestion in the city, which is the small vehicles, to attract that middle class, which is just 13%, and that's the one which causes the jam, to move them out, and they use the public service vehicles.
The journey to and from work is increasingly becoming a nightmare for Nairobi residents. Motorists and commuters waste vital working hours on the roads, covering short distances from their residences to work and vice versa. Andrin Kilemi, TV47, Nairobi.
Well, those planning to hang around longer in the city in the evening do not have much time though. Following the advent of COVID-19 pandemic in the country last year that saw numerous restrictions put in place to tame the spread of the deadly virus, among them the nationwide night curfew, Nairobi has not been the same since. Once touted as a 24-hour city, Nairobi has literally become a ghost town at night, with nightclubs, restaurants, shops, and matatus that used to operate at night bearing the heaviest brunt. Our reporter David Mudoka narrates of the dying nightlife in one of the busiest capital in the region owing to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Tick tock to 10 p.m. in Nairobi, and these are the scenes you come across in what is normally a vibrant, busy city, not only during the day but also at night. It is as if a wave is on its course to wipe the city clean, and just 30 minutes into the start of the 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. nationwide curfew, the city is now at a standstill. The ever-busy streets are empty, and the traffic lights that are usually at the center of controlling Nairobi's bloated traffic now are paving the way for God knows what. Shops, supermarkets, hospitals, and most notably restaurants, as well as nightclubs that not so long ago were the heartbeat of the city at night, have closed for the day. The city's various bus termini are now car parks at night. The silence is deafening, even for some of the security guards manning most of these closed shops, whom, unable to put up with another boring night, are lost in slumber. For the past 10 months, this has been the story of one of the busiest capitals in the continent. The loud music that used to come from the many nightclubs in the city under the sun, when it was literally under the moon, are gone. Gone also are the loud hootings and the roaring of engines as vehicle after vehicle crisscrossed the city in anticipation of its destination. The city that was once the face of the country's 24-hour economy is literally a ghost town.
Town imenyamaza, jiji kumenyamaza, hakuna ile kitu inaendelea kulingana na hiyo sheria waliweka.
According to statistics from the Bar Owners Association, nightclubs have been the hardest hit following the ban on night operations. With some on their knees, the association warns that they might not recover at all. The harsh reality is laid bare by these scenes at what was once a popular club in sport along Banda Street, Mojo's Bar and Lounge. Once rumored to have shut its doors mid-last year, Mojo's is no more, with the space currently under facelift and under new owners. Matatu Owners Association Chairman Simon Kimutai says the heat is similarly being felt by matatus that once rode in the city 24/7.
Up to now, we still are realizing losses. We are not making any profit, and since it's a service, we just want to survive, and surviving by eating into our capital, which is not business at all.
The unprecedented change in lifestyle has not only proven catastrophic, but also seems to be gradually phasing Nairobi's nightlife out. But will the old ways really pave the way for the new normal, or will they stand the test of time? David Mudoka, TV47.
Thank you, David Mudoka, for that report. Our special coverage of the state of the capital continues after this break, including an exclusive interview with Major General Mohamed Badi. We'll be back after this break. Stay tuned.
TV47, the home of untold stories.
Hi guys, welcome to the Throwdown. My name is Faith Nema, and today we are going to be making something really healthy. I am sure that in December you guys did damage, so we want to make something healthy so that you can be having some options for breakfast that you can take that are not
200 Kenya shillings.
healthy. So today we're going to be making
And 30 gigs telecom
smoothie, and we have our mango.
To sign up, dial *544# or go to shop.
Watching TV 47, the home of untold stories.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Now, besides the nightclubs and restaurants, market in the city have also ducktails to tell. The country's retail sector employs a big number of Kenyans. That number is bigger in the markets within Nairobi County. Some traders in Gikomba, Mudhurwa and Toi markets have complained of neglect by previous administration of Governor Mike Sonko. And as John Maina now reports, many city markets are either filth den or grabbers' safe havens.
The Gikomba market, which hosts thousands of vendors, is also synonymous for something else: fires. Too common that even the traders now believe the fires are deliberate rather than accidental.
Hapa sasa tumesimama. Kulikuwa na manyumba ya watu wanaishi na wana watoto. Na ile kitu ilitushangaza ni kitu inaitwa moto. Moto ilitokea pale, tujui ilitokea wapi.
Hii moto vile sasa sisi usikia, kuna tuseme kama bwenyenye wanataka kufanyia huku kazi. Sasa unakuta watu wengi, hata kama mimi nimehauziwa.
They say it is a trick by some people who want to illegally and forcibly grab the piece of land which the market sits on.
Tukaambia hii nyumba ikitengezwa, ikikwisha, watu wa biashara, especially wa zamani, watahamishwa kwa hiyo nyumba mpya. Lakini sisi tumeshangaa, hatujauzishwa.
A few kilometers from Gikomba is the Mudhurwa and Marikiti markets. Here we are distracted by a strong odor coming from the garbage. Well, it seems only a visitor can notice the smell. The traders carry on with their business with no distraction. Traders here claim they are being charged exorbitant fees without basic structures to run the market. Hotel owners and food vendors are also forced to buy water every day.
Kila siku tunalipa 50, alafu hakuna risiti yenye tunapewa.
Kilometers away in Kibra is Toi Market. The script is almost the same with those of other city markets, but there is one resounding difference here. The market is rather quiet. COVID-19 has also seen several traders call it quits. Toi also lacks clean water. Although the Nairobi Metropolitan Service NMS launched water reservoirs in Toi Market, taps are still running dry here.
Maji nayo iko ile ya baadhi walitufungulia, but kuna zingine produce maji silitengenezwa zikaachwa tu hapo.
The Nairobi market traders are now hoping that the new county boss will be able to iron out their aching issues, a job termed not as easy as it seems. Joan Maina, TV 47.
Well, it's a good and bad kind of scenario in Nairobi, and the masterminds of it all are the politicians, or aren't they? For the last 3 years, Nairobi City County has witnessed what can best be described as tumultuous political leadership, both in the executive and the county assembly. And the drama may be far from over if the recent swearing in of Anne Kananu as deputy governor is anything to go by. Our political affairs reporter Elizabeth Mutuku reports on Nairobi's political theatre.
Mike Sonko assumed the position of Nairobi City Governor in 2017 with Nairobians pregnant with expectations for a better city. Unlike his predecessor Evans Kidero, Sonko garnered the highest numbers of votes beside President Uhuru Kenyatta and ODM boss Raila Odinga. But Sonko's ship did dock as required. Immediate political battles caught up with him few days after he assumed office, with his deputy and businessman Polycarp Igathe resigning, citing frustrations from Sonko. The resignation of Igathe only aggravated Sonko's political woes. Endless battles between Governor Sonko and the county assembly ensued, with threats of impeachment being a daily cap for Sonko.
Doesn't know what it entails to be a governor of a capital city. I think it was a mistake which was done by Nairobians, in fact by my party, by nominating such kind and character.
These battles saw the then Speaker Beatrice Elache resign, and like Igathe, she blamed it on frustrations from Governor Sonko.
And Sonko was right when he said there were cartels. The only thing he needed to have done now is to embrace Badi and say, we are going to work together. You do for me the implementation. Where he feels here is where they are doing their cartel. You push and you leave it and you tell Badi, Ebu deal na hiyo.
Thank you.
The endless battles in the city count saw Governor Sonko cede 4 functions to NMS. President Uhuru Kenyatta applauded NMS, saying the Mohamed Badi-led team had done in days what Sonko couldn't do in 3 years of his tenure.
Nairobi eno ukiona tukihitania na mwanake uyu na ni ndamuteithirie nigetha gie giti kiu tondu handu ha guthii wira uria twahirwo ni andu we wira waku ni gutinda haha ukikorogana na andu one uria mundu uyu twikirite ambiririe kuhingura barabara cia industrial area one uria ambiririe gutheria mucii uyu wa Nairobi.
Nairobi is becoming great again. If Governor Sonko could have seized that opportunity 2 years ago, now we could have been far much ahead in terms of developing the city of Nairobi.
Before his impeachment, Sonko decried of intimidation by NMS, declining to sign Nairobi City Count budget, which afterwards was signed by Speaker Benjamin Mutura on his first day on duty as acting governor.
If you read through the deed of transfer, it was very clear that the national government shall operationalize the transferred functions. That did not mean that the national government can set out to commit illegalities.
18th December, the Senate upholded the impeachment of Governor Sonko, which saw the end of era for Governor Sonko.
The ayes, 88.
After his impeachment, Sonko has been blaming some senior government officers for his woes. But is it the end of Sonko's once shining political career? In order to fill the leadership gap in the Nairobi City County, the government opted for Anne Kananu's vetting, who was later sworn in as deputy governor, with a plan to have her sent to governorship post, a process which has been challenged in court.
There is a position of deputy governor, just like there's a position of deputy president. Whether the president is there or not, there is a position which is articulated in our constitution. So it's not a question of deputizing somebody, as you would say, in a function, I'm a deputy MCA.
On whether Nairobians will have their leader through ballot or Anne Kananu will ascend to power as governor is a matter of wait and see. What is assured, though, is that Nairobi's political theatres is yet to run short of drama. Elizabeth Motuko, TV47 Nairobi.
Now, garbage collection and proper waste disposal has been one of the greatest nightmares in Nairobi City, and city dwellers have turned to an orthodox method of waste disposal, transforming every available spot to a dump site. Our reporter Mwangi Maina conducted a spot check within the city and paints a grim picture of a city choking in filth.
A spot check on Taveta Lane, right at the heart of Nairobi Central Business District, reveals the mess that is Nairobi City. One of the many city alleys turned garbage disposal sites. A walk through the miserable lane invites you to the struggles that Nairobians have to cope up with on a daily basis. Mounds and heaps of unattended waste, kitchen refuse, sewer, and one wouldn't doubt human waste finds its way on the lane out of the nauseating strong stench emanating from the waste. Passers-by have to jump over and walk stealthily, avoiding any contact with the heaps. Business people operating near this site pointing an accusing finger at Nairobi County waste collectors, whom they allege have turned the lane into a disposal site.
Wanafagia kwa barabara, ndio wanakuja kudampa hapa.
Takataka ziko na miezi kama 5. Kwa hivyo si ati ni kitu hawajui, ni kitu wanajua iko hapa. Sasa ile management yao ndio ni tunaona ni kama mwenye na manage ndio itakataka ichukuliwe ni kama kwa usingizi.
They lament that the waste nuisance has lingered for weeks, chasing away their customers. They allege hoteliers and food vendors within the CBD have also taken advantage of the dire situation and have now found a favorable waste disposal site, oblivious or ignorant of the lurking danger.
Takataka za mikaa zinachukuliwa na hiyo roli. Na kama hiyo roli ikuji kuchukua, si wataweka hapa.
Naogopa ni kama wanaweza kufukuzwa hapa hivyo na watu usafi. Sababu ya takataka. Mpaka watu wanaogopa kupita hapa hivyo sababu ya takataka na maji chafu. Hii maji ya taka.
At an adjacent alley still in the CBD, the site is no different. Street families, matatu operators and passers-by have turned the lane into a relieving spot. One could only imagine the health risks posed by the uncollected garbage as Nairobians relieve themselves on the garbage ignominiously. The sorry sites have become breeding grounds for insects and popular joints for crows and other scavengers.
Palikuwa wanamoa mbeleni, tukakataza. Wafanyikazi wa hapa Taveta Rain. Sasa kama nikiwa mfanyikazi wa hapa Taveta Rain, mpaka makastoma wanaogopa kuja kununua. Sababu itakataka na ile harufu inatoka hapa.
Along Juja Road, we spot several cart pullers with sacks of trash loaded on their carts. We develop a keen interest on where the waste is being delivered. To our surprise, the garbage is offloaded at an open site, actually on the roadside just next to Moi Air Base perimeter fence. On the other side of the road, food vendors are unperturbed by the cloud of flies buzzing around the dumping site, with sewer lines blocked and waste being blown off by the winds occasionally. The waste is a ticking time bomb in the area. A beautiful roundabout at the Juja Road has been turned into an ugly sight. It is now a haven for street families. Not even the glaring eyes from hundreds of motorists would stop anybody from dumping at the site, even as trash collection trucks pass by the roundabout unmoved. The dump site is right at the center of a roundabout here in Juja Road. Ideally, such a roundabout should have been decorated by the relevant authorities. But waste disposal and management is not only proving to be a hard task to the Nairobi City County, but also to the Nairobi Metropolitan Services, thereby endangering the lives of people living nearby such places here in Nairobi. Mwangi Maina, TV 47, Nairobi.
With all that filth in the street comes diseases. So Nairobi County health facilities well equipped to respond to hundreds of thousands of patients who flock there daily. How many facilities are there versus the population? What are some of the challenges facing the hospitals? And what is the way forward for the county capital? Zainab Mohammed spoke to Nairobi Metropolitan Service Chief Health Officer.
With a population of close to 5 million people and only 102 health facilities, Nairobi health sector could be said to be somewhat overburdened. But what is the government doing to decongest the already congested health facilities? I spoke to Dr. Ouma Oluga, the Chief Health Officer at Nairobi Metropolitan Services, and this is what he had to say.
We have 102 public health facilities. 3 of them are big hospitals. That is Mama Lucy, Pumwani, and Baghdad. 56 of them are health centers, and then another 42 are dispensaries. When we took over on 1st of April, hospitals had not received medicines for 6 months. 65% of Nairobi's population are actually poor people in terms of they depend on the public health care system. These people cannot access care, and we put level 2 and level 3 health facilities so that they are able to go in there and get health care without having to pay a single cent as long as you have an NHIF card. And we have distributed these healthcare facilities based on only 3 things. Number one, the number of people who are coming from that region and congesting Kenyatta, because the wider objective is also to decongest Kenyatta National Hospital. Number two, the disease burden. So if there were more women who are dying from a particular region, we are putting maternity there. Because they are dying because they are staying at home for longer. They may not be going to clinic so that their risks could be assessed. And then when they have to get care, it is far. And as I told you, the ambulances were not getting there. In the future, I think part of the things is to have a very connected and coordinated healthcare system in Nairobi. I don't know whether we will have enough time to do that, so that wherever you are, whether it's a private facility, a public facility, we can map out and see what are the problems that we have. Is it about NCDs, about mental health? Can you get the nearest care near you? And that requires a very integrated electronic medical platform for the city. Political interference in Nairobi. I think that's the biggest challenge. And then the other problem, especially as far as health care is concerned, is that but also Nairobi is full of indiscipline, is full of crooks and cartels, and these crooks and cartels have even infiltrated